Extremely happy to share the news with you that Study with Sudhir Education YouTube channel has been chosen by YouTube as a creator on the rise and is being featured on the trending tab page as I speak and will be there for the next 24 hours. Why this is truly special is because this honor has been extended by YouTube only to 2 creators every week. So let's continue to make learning on Study with Sudhir an enjoyable experience. Thank you. Hello and welcome to Study with Sudhir, your digital classroom. I am TS Sudhir. Many students asking what should be the time management strategy as far as the history and civics paper is concerned. Not very difficult for the simple reason that you have very 2 clear portions. One is the compulsory portion of 30 marks and the second is the descriptive portion where you have a choice and that accounts for 50 marks. Okay, but before we get to 11 o'clock when you will actually start writing the answers, let's look at the 15 minutes. What you should ideally do in those 15 minutes. In those 15 minutes, you need to look at 2 things. Go straight away to part 2. Don't start with part 1. Go to part 2 and decide which of the questions you will do. Which are the 2 civics portions questions and which are the 3 history portions questions that you will address. Make that choice very clear, and while you're making that choice, just don't go by the fact that, oh, I have studied World War I, Hitler, Mussolini, World War II very well, so I will go for it. No. Ensure that you look at each sub question very carefully. Be very careful of the fact that you should be mindful of the fact that you should know each of the sub questions very well. Only then you decide that, okay, this is going to be the option that I am going to exercise. So you need to use those 15 minutes, part of those 15 minutes in deciding which of the options you are going to use, which are the questions you are going to answer. Done. The second part is to do with part 1. Come to part 1 and start kind of saying, okay, I know this, I know this, I know this, I know this. If you know 20 on 20, fantastic. But just kind of ensure that you know all the questions. In history, be careful. In many questions, there could be a part 2. Part 2 will mean there will be one question, then there will be another question very clearly for 1 mark each. Many students in their enthusiasm and hurry, they miss out answering one of the 2 parts. So be a little mindful of that, be careful of that. Now let's come to 11 o'clock. The clock has struck 11 o'clock. What you should start with? Start with part 1 because that is the objective type largely, at least as far as civics is concerned, even history to a large extent. So answer the objective type part 1 questions because that will kind of take care of a lot of the load. In case you don't know part G, part H, those kind of small things, you can always leave a line or 2 and come back to it later. You can always do that, but largely 30 marks will be out of the way. How much time you should actually take in order to do this part? Part 1, civics, should not take more than 10 minutes. So by 11:10, you should be wrapping up your civics portion. History portion, 20 marks, you could take up to 25 minutes max. So by 11:35, your 30 marks should be in your pocket, ideally speaking. No problem. Ensure that while you are doing so, you mark, for instance, this is the 2019 paper. Write question 1 right on top. Many students are coming to me and saying that, oh, we missed out writing question 1, we missed out writing the sub parts. Don't do that. These are very small things. You should be a little more careful with those kind of things. I have seen a lot of students saying that to me, both for English language as well as the English literature paper. So in this paper, it's very clearly written question 1 A, B, C, D. So this A, B, C, D has to be very clearly marked in slightly a font size bigger than your usual handwriting. And after each kind of answer, leave a line so that it's easier for the examiner to understand. Okay, so that is as far as the civics part is concerned. History part should take 25 minutes. So by 11:35 max, if you can finish off in 20 minutes, even better. But max by 11:35, you should be done with part 1. Now at 11:35, you start with the part 2. You have now what, close to an hour and 25 minutes left, 85 minutes. I would suggest, this is quite a luxury, you should finish off, look at finishing each answer in a max time of about what, 12 to 15 minutes, 15 minutes at the max. That's all. You should not idly take, in fact, some answers, because remember, I see a lot of other educators pointing out lamba likho, lamba likho. No, writing lamba is probably for state boards. For ICSE quality is more important than quantity, and I have been saying this in many other video lessons, especially relating to English literature. Quality is more important than quantity. Your keywords, your key points are going to get you the marks. If you write a 2-page answer without any keywords, without any key points, sorry, you won't get the marks, right? So you need to write the keywords. Also ensure that you write maximum in point form. When I say point form, you write it, give a subheading. You could give a subheading because that kind of highlights it, and subheadings are usually the keywords. Write it, give a subheading, underline it immediately. You don't have to look for color pencil and all that. I mean, you don't have that kind of luxury of time. Underline it with the same pen, or if you have a pencil at hand, just underline it. Write about 2 sentences or max 3 lines on it. That's all you need. Leave a gap, go on to the thing. I'm just saying, for example, contributions of a particular national leader, of say Dadabhai Naroji. You just need to write those 3 points. That's it. That will get you the 3 marks. In a 3-mark question, to be on the safer side, you could write 4 points if you have 4 points. That's it. Otherwise, 3 points will be well and good. That's what the ICSE will essentially see. Okay. So on each answer, take about 15 minutes, which will leave you with about 10 minutes for revision, assuming that you're not attempting any extra question. If you have really prepared very well the entire syllabus, you could even go for an extra question. That won't be a problem. It will be selected on the best of 3 in the case of history, the best of 2 in the case of civics, the best 2. That will be seen. Otherwise, if you have done those 5 questions, 2 in civics and 3 in history very well, you really don't need to attempt any extra question. Okay. So that is as far as the long format part 2 is concerned. Do not leave out any question in part 1. Try to attempt every question. Do not leave it out. Even if you are kind of 50-50 kind of a position, you don't know the answer very well, attempt it. Attempt it, just by chance you may get it right. So don't leave out any question. That is something which I would say. History civics, you can actually score an 80 on 80. You have the potential. It's a very straight paper. Everything is asked from the textbook that you are studying. Another question that many people ask, and I will be addressing this in another video: textbook or syllabus. See, the syllabus is very, very generic in nature. Syllabus is very, very generic in nature. It just gives you the mota headlines. It does not give you the very precise details. While I have been doing my video lessons, I have been kind of talking about a various lot of things, because obviously you need to make the student understand the entire context in which freedom was achieved by India, or how the World War I, World War II, etc. Take place. For instance, yesterday one student asked, why did Britain and France issue an ultimatum to Germany? Britain and France issued an ultimatum to Germany because Germany invaded Poland on September 1, 1939. Then she asked me the second question, but why was Britain so bothered, Britain and France so bothered about Poland? Because Britain had a pact signed in August 1939 with Poland that it will protect Poland against any kind of aggression from Germany. Now you may argue, ये तो syllabus में नहीं है. This is not part of the syllabus. But unless you are able to understand the context, you will never be able to kind of get the larger picture. So in our video lessons, many of you are discovering it now 1, 2, 3, 4 days before the exams. The effort has been to make you understand the larger context. Yes, there would be this part, that part, which you may say, yes, this is not in scope, that is not in syllabus. That's all fine as far as the examination is concerned. The attempt also is when the way I teach history as a story, you need to make the students understand the kind of circumstances, the political circumstances under which certain world events and certain events in India took place. Okay, so I hope this is loud and clear. This has to be your time management strategy as far as history civics paper is concerned. By 11:50, you should have put your pen down. Okay, pen down and then revise the paper for the next 10 minutes so that you are comfortable at 1 o'clock. Sorry, not at 11:50, at 12:50 you should be comfortable having finished the entire paper. Okay, so all the best. I hope you do well and get an 80 on 80. Thank you very much for watching.